Hi, this is Leanne from Lanka Business today. And with here we have today Mr. Kishu Gomes. Just to give you a background of Mr. Kishu Gomes, we see that Kishu is the CEO Managing Director of Chevron Lubricants Lanka PLC, a leading blue chip in the country with 49% of public shareholding, and Managing Director of Chevron Ceylon Limited, a fully owned Chevron company. Under Kishu's leadership, the company made successful market into Bangladesh and overlooks Chevron Lubricants in Maldives as well. Kishu is a leadership team member of Asia Pacific Lubricants team that makes all strategic decisions for the region. We also have Kishu started his career at Coca-Cola in 1984 and worked his way up the ladder over 11 years, holding various key sales and marketing positions, including 2 country assignments in Singapore and Vietnam. Positions held included public relations, event management, product line and brand management, corporate affairs, and sales management. In 1997, Kishu joined a team of expatriates at Chevron as the first Sri Lankan manager and revolutionized the state-owned lubricant business, and was instrumental in transforming a production-oriented organization into a marketing-led business, and has been the architect of the Caltex brand strategy in Sri Lanka. He was appointed the CEO Managing Director at the age of 35 to become the first ever Sri Lankan to head the 2 entities under Chevron. And as a corporate leader away from Chevron, Kishu has served as a director of the board of American Chamber of Commerce. Sri Lanka was elected as its president in 2003. Under his leadership, the AMCHAM recorded the best financial results in 13-year history, and Kishu was the senior vice chairman of the Chartered Institute of Marketing UK. And we also see internally Kishu has won the Regional Gold Award for the best performance in the Asia Pacific region, and many other regional and global awards and accolades for unique achievements in different aspects of the business over the past 10 years. Now moving on to our first question from Lanka Business Today to Mr. Kishu Gomes. So how had been the market dynamics of the lubricant industry under the post-war booming economic conditions in the country?
Well, post-war, immediately we saw a big boom. We saw the market correction happening at a very satisfactory level. But then, after about 1.5 years' time, it took a different trend altogether. And currently, what we see is a kind of a static market, given the most recent challenges. Well, it all depends on where the world is heading, what kind of economic issues will be confronted with, and if the conducive expected economic environment is created in Sri Lanka, I'm sure we'll be able to grow the industry by close to 5 to 6%. But currently, what we see is either a degrowth or flat growth.
Mr. Gomes, if you could tell us about your product portfolio.
Well, we have a very, very large product portfolio, and we have products for every single application in Sri Lanka. As a global organization, we have access to the latest technology, and we're catering to every single segment in Sri Lanka. So the product portfolio as a whole include all the engine oils, power generation oil, hydraulics, greasers, specialities, you name it. We got the entire lubricant range, and some non-lubricants as well.
Okay, so if you want to tell us how the company has fared in the last financial year.
Well, we had a record year last year. We crossed 2 billion rupees for the first time in the history. Way back in 1998, when we had the monopoly situation, we made only 500 to 600 million. So from that level, with the market opening up, with all the challenges we have had to confront with, being able to cross 2 billion rupees. So last year was a great year for us.
So what would the outlook be for Chevron Lubricants, taking into consideration the rising competitors' performance in the local lubricant market?
Well, competition has always been there. A lot of people, try to basically, present it as if it's new competition. But as far as, I'm concerned, we've had competition coming from the top global players ever since the market liberalization took place way back in 1998. So we've had that competition, and then about 4 years ago, government decided to further liberalize the market, and with that we saw the entry of another 8 players. So today, market has 14 players, and out of the 14 players, 3 players share about 85% of the market, and the balance 11 players basically share the balance 15% of the market. So it's stiff competition, and we of course as a marketing company like competition, and we've always had the right strategies in order to drive the business forward. So it is with that positive state of mind we will face the future as
So
well.
how successful has the progress been so far in the export markets?
Export market entry was done way back in 2002 with formal entry into Maldives. And then in 2004 we entered Bangladesh. So those two markets come under the direct purview of the Sri Lankan operation under the listed company here. The progress has been tremendous. Of course, as a new entrant in those two markets, we started on a low base, but on that low base, we've recorded significant growth, and so much so, last year we had a 30% volume growth. And from a margin perspective, out of the two markets, of course, Maldives, being a strong economy, the margins are much higher than the level of margins we're making in Bangladesh. But Bangladesh, on the other hand, is a much larger market than Maldives, so it helps the local business in two ways. One, margin maximization; two, volume growth, which also gives us the opportunity to achieve large economies of scale. So with that, even in the local market, we are able to raise our gross margin level. So it's good. The going is good, and we have pretty optimistic goals covered in the two markets, and we have so far executed those strategies well, and we are looking to the future with optimism as far as the two export markets are concerned.
So how did the price increase of oil in global market affect the company's sales and manufacturing process?
Well, it directly affects the lubricant industry because the core raw material that's used to blending of lubricants is a byproduct of the same refining process. So whenever crude prices go up, the base oil, the core raw material we use, follow the same trend. So over the past 6-7 months, we've seen an upward trend following the crude oil price trend. But with crude coming down, maybe we can expect some kind of consolation over the next 2 to 3 months' time. But currently, base oil prices are at the highest level, which is hurting us. Surely, we need to recover these incremental costs from our customers, and given the economic environment, it's very hard to pass on all the cost increases to the customers. So while we have a critical need to be able to pass on some of these cost increases to the consumer, internally also we're looking for various synergies so that as a whole we'll be able to better manage the situation.
Now, Chevron Lubricants has got a land lease agreement from the government of Sri Lanka to operate a plant, and it is being said that the relocation of the plant is to happen soon. Now, when is it going to take place? Where will it be, and how much will it cost?
Okay, interesting question. Yeah, I mean, we have the extended lease going up to July 2014. So from now, we have almost 2 years, right? We are in almost June 2012, so 2 more years. We have made the decision to relocate the plant, and that decision has been communicated to all our stakeholders. So that's something that's planned, which is going to happen. It's a lengthy process, so we have already started on that process, and there is a lot of work that has already been done, um, and we will complete the project in time to be able to give up on the lease that we have with the government. In terms of location, it's Colombo suburbs. There are a few things we need to iron out before we are able to go out and say where are we going to be located. We know where it is, but I'm still not in a position to share what the exact location is due to some sensitivities attached to it. Yeah, but in summary, we are relocating, and we will do that over the next 2 years, and we will not disturb local production in any way, and that way we will ensure the right returns to all our stakeholders.
So, looking at the cost of relocation, what would be the effect on the company's financial performance?
Well, we made 2 billion rupees this year. First quarter was a fantastic first quarter as well. We had 60% bottom line growth over last year corresponding period. So we are making good profits, and we are able to fund this project without any issue. Surely, this investment is for the future. It's not just an investment for short term. It's for long term, and through that investment, we will be basically adding value to our shareholders. And if we are going to fund it out of our own funds, then that can logically have an effect on the dividend payout. But when you make such investments, looking at the future growth, there can always be a capital appreciation. So shareholders would surely like it, and while this project is going to cost us some amount of money, since it's going to be phased out over 2 years, there will not be that much of an impact on the dividend payout to the shareholders as we think today.
So, has Chevron Lubricants taken any policies to promote clean and green energy in Sri Lanka?
Well, Chevron, as you know, is a global organization, and environmentally friendly technology is a daily activity for Chevron global corporation. So surely all the products we are marketing here in Sri Lanka are meeting those international requirements, and we keep on aligning with the demand of the environment and society. So from that perspective, I can proudly say that we are pretty much aligned locally as well, to be able to conduct our businesses in a very socially and environmentally responsible manner.
Right. LLUB is known to be a consistent performer, but in the recent past it has been stagnant. Any comment on that?
No, we've not been stagnant. As I told you, when we had a monopoly situation, profit was something like 600 million, and with the market opening up, we immediately raised our bottom line to 800, and we crossed the 1 billion mark in 2008, and in 2009 we crossed 1.5 billion, and in 2011 we crossed 2 billion. So it has been going up in that direction. So it has not been stagnant as far as the bottom line performance is concerned. And yeah, we like to keep that trend going to be able to keep creating new records.
So will the trend in declaring dividends of the company continue?
Well, I mean, it's a decision for the board of directors, and we are known to be a high dividend payer. There are only probably 2 other companies who basically pay same percentage from a ratio standpoint. We talked about the investment on the plant, and with that, if you have to retain some cash for that exercise, that can have a negative impact on the short-term dividend payout ratio. But as the board of directors, our intention is to give the best returns to our shareholders. So, other than this investment, we do not have, as it is, any other reason to build up cash. So, we, as the board, will be taking the right decisions to ensure that our shareholders get the right
Mr. Gomes,
return.
going back to your past, can you explain how you became what you are today?
Well, it's no secret. It's hard work, it's commitment, and on a continuous basis, doing an audit on myself, understanding the gaps I needed to close, and putting an effort to close those gaps, and through that process, on an ongoing basis, elevating the level of knowledge, competencies, skills, and all the other things that are required to win in the modern market, and winning through dedicated execution.
If you are to tell us how you confronted your challenges in your professional career.
Well, like all the other leaders, not just in Sri Lanka, across the world, I've had my own sweet challenges as well. And as leaders, you face challenges on a daily basis. Challenges for me are good. I like challenges, and when there are challenges that gets the best out of you, and it demands a more committed effort, use of your intelligence to the maximum, and great effort, all that. So when there are challenges, you become a much stronger, more confident individual, and when there are no challenges, to try to basically ride on your own kind of comfort zones, and that doesn't help you develop yourself. So challenges have been there, challenges will be there tomorrow as well, but I've so far been successful, and I'm committed to maintaining my stature, and then my kind of esteem I'm being able to achieve going forward too.
Was there any sport you took part when you were a teen?
Many, and sports is still part of my life, and it's a big part of my life. Yeah, I was into all the sports. I've done 13 different sports when I was schooling, and out of which athletics was my first love, and I was a national athlete. My pet event was hurdles, and I was a Colombo district champion for 4 years when I was schooling. And I am still into competitive, athletics. So yeah, it's very much a part of my life.
Would you like to take a snapshot of how your school day experience and aspirations helped you to rise in your professional career?
Yeah, during my school career, I spent more time in doing other things other than studying. I would have probably spent just 3-4 hours in the classroom, and spent the balance time doing other work. And through that process, I was able to learn a lot of skills. And it is those skills that helped me to become what I have become today. So I'm glad that I was not so studious or not so committed to doing studies only, and that I took time to do other things which made me an all-rounder, to be able to not just do this job, but to take on other challenges as well, to help my country, help the up and coming generation, and making a difference for my own country. So yeah, it has surely helped me.
And lastly, my question would be, as a very successful young businessman, would you have an advice to give the upcoming businessman?
Yeah, my I can give many advices, but out of all, one thing I would like to educate is, you got to have the right attitude when you're taking on competition. Culturally, we have a belief that competing is not a good thing to do, and competing is all about beating others. The competition I'm talking about is not competing against the others, but competing against you. For you to be able to beat someone else, you got to beat yourself first. And in that, what I mean is, like how I have done it. Uh, you know, Keep doing regular audits on you. See where you're strong, see where you are not so strong, and come up with a plan to basically close those gaps and keep on elevating your level of competency, and use that with a plan. And I also advocate people to have a business plan, individual business plan. In that, what I mean is have a vision for yourself, have strategies for yourself, and then have an execution plan, and see how you're progressing against those on a regular basis, and keep on progressing in that direction to achieve what you want to achieve in life. So if you want to succeed, only way is to compete. And when competing, compete against you, and compete ethically and in a socially responsible manner. And that will not only help you, but help everyone else as well.
Thank you.